The story begins with a text explaining that the first case of hydrophobia was around 2300 BCE. Rabbits go mad upon seeing water, and if not treated within the first 48 hours, the disease never heals. The scene changes, and the story begins with a doctor named Lambert searching for a rabbit. He then goes to Ben, where we learn that Ben is actually a chimpanzee. Meanwhile, the doctor is about to administer an injection to Ben. He was infected with rabies. But just as Ben is about to administer the injection, Ben disappears. He shows Ben his favorite toy and tries to call him, but instead of the toy, he grabs the doctor, pulls him away, and brutally kills him by ripping off the skin from his face. We are then shown a scene from 36 hours earlier, where we see a girl named Lucy inside an airplane. Lucy was traveling with her friend Kate to their remote house in Hawaii, supposedly for a vacation. Lucy is overjoyed and excited. Just as Lucy is about to leave, she bumps into two handsome men. Kate was her best friend, but Hannah arrives, and Lucy is shocked to see her. Kate then reveals that she invited her to spend the holidays with them, and Lucy is devastated by this, as she didn't like Hannah at all. But she pretends everything is fine. After landing at the airport, they meet Nick. They all leave in their car to go to the remote house. Lucy arrives home and meets her father, who is actually a novelist. However, the problem is that he can't speak, so she communicates with him in sign language. Lucy's father asks her in sign language how her exams went, to which she replies, "They went great." Lucy's father then meets her friends, and then Nick. He asks Nick how his relationship with Alexandra is going, to which Nick reveals that they've broken up. Lucy then goes to visit her sister, Erin, who is upset with her because Lucy hasn't been home in a while. Here she tries to talk to Erin. Erin then tells her through a tablet lying nearby that she's angry with her. This tablet contains software that produces sounds, and seeing this tablet may remind you of the opening scene. So, this tablet was actually specifically for Ben. Yes, friends, Ben's pet, an intelligent chimpanzee who has learned over 300 words. And Ben communicates with her through it. She apologizes to Erin, but Erin isn't in a mood to forgive her. Lucy gives Ben a teddy bear, a stuffed teddy bear, which Ben loves very much. Ben tells Lucy through the tablet that he misses her. At night, Lucy scares Hannah with her pet and has fun with it. Hannah was also afraid of the bun. Lucy tells Hannah that it's like a family member, and Ben has fun with them there. Later that night, Hannah comes downstairs and sees a photo of Lucy's mother. Ben learns everything Lucy taught him. Lucy's mother is no longer alive, and Nick arrives. Hannah and Nick begin talking, and she asks him about Lucy's mother. Nick reveals that his mother suffered from cancer a year ago and passed away. After their conversation, Nick asks Hannah if she wants a smoke, to which she agrees. Hannah then goes to the pool alone, which is truly magnificent. She takes a closer look, but Ben suddenly appears behind her, startling her. Ben, however, was quite strange this time. He was foaming at the mouth and wading through the pool in a strange manner. He extends his hand to Hannah, and she thinks he wants to shake her hand. She reaches out, but Ben pulls her hand away. Then Lacey's father arrives and calms him down. Lacey's father tells Hannah via text that sometimes it's weird around strangers. Lucy's father leaves Ben in a cage, where he finds a dead mongoose. Lucy's father realizes that the mongoose had bitten Ben. Afterward, Lucy's father locks the cage and leaves. He didn't take the situation seriously at all. The next day, we see Lucy and Erin at the dining table when their father arrives, placing the mongoose's dead body between them. He explains that he'll send it to the lab because the mongoose bit Ben, making him a little sick. But not to worry. He'll recover soon. He'll send Dr. Lambert to check on Ben. And until then, no one will let him out of the cage. The scene then shifts to the friends partying together in the pool, enjoying themselves. Meanwhile, we learn that their house was high up on the mountainside, right on the edge. After the party, Lucy sends a message inviting the boys she bumped into on the airplane. Kate is drunk, and Lucy goes to put her to bed. Meanwhile, Nick and Hannah begin an affair. They kiss, which Lucy witnesses, and she dislikes it at all, as she liked Nick and already hated Hannah. This must have only intensified her hatred. Then we see Dr. Lambert approaching Ben. This is the same scene from the beginning of the movie, where he opens the cage door and enters. But Ben has changed drastically. The scene then shifts to night, where Kate wakes up in the middle of the night and comes into the hall. Meanwhile, she sees Ben's toy on the dining table. She slowly walks over to the teddy bear. She thinks Hannah did it. She's having fun with it. But then Ben arrives, and she asks him what he's doing there. But now Bun has become very ferocious. Foam is coming out of his mouth again. He looks very aggressive. Kate asks him to recognize her, but he starts growling at her in a strange way. Seeing this terrifying sight, Kate leaves the room and closes the door. She then calls out for Lucy. When Lucy comes downstairs, and Kate tells her that something's not right with Bun. Lucy opens the door and looks for Ben, and they both wonder how Ben got out of the cage. But we know how Ben must have gotten out of the cage when he stabbed Dr. Lambert, and that's where he escaped. Lucy finds the studded bear, which is covered in blood, and Lucy is a little frightened by it. Kate starts to say that Ben was about to attack her, but then Aaron comes and says that he can't do that. Then they hear Hannah screaming. They both quickly head to the pool, as that's where the sound was coming from. There, they find Ben behaving strangely. Nick and Hannah were both present. Lucy tries to stop him, but Ben becomes increasingly aggressive and irritable. Lucy calms him down, and Nick says they have to tie him up. Nick slowly goes to remove the rope, but it activates a toy that starts playing music, which irritates Ben even more. Nick quickly throws the toy into the ditch. Meanwhile, Lucy calms Ben down, and Nick moves to tie him up. Ben, sensing Ben's attempt, lunges at her. Lucy takes the rope from him and starts tying him up herself. Ben then pushes Nick down. Just then, Erin arrives, saying they should quickly call Dr. Lambert, but Lucy's phone was upstairs. Kate calls her, but the sound is coming from the cage. Hannah asks if they don't have a pistol or something. Lucy becomes irritated, asking if she's gone crazy. Hannah then says that this monkey has gone mad, and it's right to kill mad animals. Hearing this, Lucy tells her who called her here. She came here on her own. Meanwhile, Erin tries to console Ben, but it's a bad idea. Ben bites her thigh in return, leaving her with a very deep wound. Nick then tells everyone to jump into the swimming pool, and they do. Everyone jumps into the pool. Ben, who has hydrophobia due to rabies, can't get into the water. However, Erin's wound is very deep. Nick then asks her to tie his cloth around her leg. But Erin says that if Ben has rabies, it means he's infected. Erin herself is now infected and needs to go to the hospital as soon as possible. But the forest stood there frozen, and they were wondering how they would take it away. They began screaming for help, but no one was there to hear them. Ben was also scaring them. Ben was sitting in a corner overlooking the ditch when Nick tried to push him over and throw him overboard. Unaware that Ben was already hanging down, he quickly grabbed Nick's hand and threw him overboard, killing him instantly. Seeing this, everyone was stunned. Then Ben, doing his aura formation, stood in front of them, but he didn't have the courage to get into the water. This time Ben, acting wisely, moved away from the ditch. Meanwhile, Lucy spotted an air float and slowly moved forward to grab it. She slowly came out, but Ben saw her but did nothing. She took the float, and Ben was staring at her. She placed it in the pool, where Kate's phone was also kept. She reaches out to pick up the phone, but just as she's about to, a call rings, sending Ben into a frenzy. Kate distracts him, and Lucy, still safe and sound, jumps into the swimming pool. They call the same people they met on the airplane and ask them for help, but they're just joking about it. This angers Hannah and causes her to scold them. While Hannah was still holding the phone, Ben grabbed her hair, which was hanging from a wire, causing Hannah to drop it into the water. Ben plucks out her hair, ripping off a small piece of skin along with it. A traumatic scene. Kate retrieves the phone and tries to call again. Meanwhile, Ben brings out his tablet, telling her that Ben is gone, and Lucy realizes that the person in front of them is no longer Ben. Meanwhile, we see Lucy's dad, surrounded by his fans, when he receives a call from Lady Mary, who works at the vet's office. Lucy's father had brought the mongoose to Mary's lab for testing. Lucy's father, obviously unable to hear the news, hangs up and texts. Mary explains that the mongoose was rabies positive. Lucy's father then types it in and says that rabies doesn't exist in Hawaii. Mary will retest the sample, she says. Lucy's father quickly calls Lucy, but the phone was upstairs, and they were trapped inside the swimming pool. They realize that the pool's surroundings are nowhere to be seen, and they must get Erin to the hospital as quickly as possible, or else anything could happen. Once rabies spreads, saving her will be nearly impossible. They leave the swimming pool and move on. By those, I mean Lucy and Kate. The others, Hannah and Aaron, were still in the pool. They proceeded to the hall and found Lucy's phone, which they had come to retrieve. Meanwhile, they stepped on the TV remote, turning on the TV, and Dora the Explorer was playing. Suddenly, they heard Ben's voice, and they hurriedly hid in the wardrobe. Ben came over and started checking the wardrobe, but they sat down, avoiding Ben's attention. Ben then watched the cartoon Dora the Explorer, but he apparently didn't like it. He broke the TV. His aggressive behavior frightened them both, causing them to drop items from the wardrobe, which made Ben realize someone was there. Ben then began to break the wardrobe, but he still couldn't see anyone because he was crouched down and hiding. After a while, he leaves. They both exit and hang up. But Ben, who was intelligent and was right behind them, tells them on his tablet that Lucy is evil and then attacks Lucy. But Kate saves her, knocking Ben aside. Afterward, they both exit the hall and close the door. But the chimpanzee, being intelligent, tries to open the door, but they hold it from the outside. Ben then makes a run for it, breaks the glass, and chases them. Meanwhile, Kate falls down the stairs, caught in Ben's grasp. Lucy moves forward, but hears Kate's voice and comes back. Ben crushes Kate's head in front of her, killing her. The chimpanzee has become extremely aggressive, and Lucy is devastated by this. But running away was the only option. But Ben was still after her. Hannah then climbs out of the pool and ties a rope around Ben's neck, hoping she can control him. But when Ben looks at her, she's overcome with fear. They both jump into the pool with the rope, and she tries to pull Ben down, but Ben frees himself. The scene shifts to the two boys Lucy met on the airplane. Their names are Drew and Brad. They start looking for girls in the house, but they don't find any, and then they separate. Meanwhile, Drew arrives at Lucy's bedroom, where he is resting on Lucy's bed. He looks at a photo of Ben, and suddenly Ben appears before him. Ben climbs on Drew, rips off his jaw, and begins to eat him. Then we see Brad, who was spotted by Hannah and Lucy. They signal him to stay away from the chimpanzee, but he doesn't understand them. Then he finds Drew's eaten jaw, which Ben had thrown away. Before he can understand anything, Ben grabs him and holds him down. Hannah quickly gets out of the pool, and, while Ben is busy, takes Brad's car keys and runs away. She quickly gets into the car, where she breathes a sigh of relief, but she realizes she was in the wrong car. The keys she brought were for another car, so she starts to get out. But Ben appears in front of her, and she gets back into the car. Ben had the keys to the car Hannah was in, and he locks it. This is a highly intelligent chimpanzee. Seeing an opportunity, Hannah calls the police. But she didn't realize that Ben had already gotten inside the car, and he catches her from behind and gives her a very painful death, tearing her apart. Meanwhile, Lucy and Erin were in the pool, and Lucy came out of the pool. The first thing she saw was the dead body of her friend Kate, and she felt a terrible shock. She was slowly moving forward when a piece of glass pierced her foot, causing her immense pain. While she was removing the glass, Ben appeared in front of her. However, she heard the sound of a car carrying Lucy's father, and Ben followed. Lucy's father was casually walking inside when Ben followed him, but his voice was unheard. Lucy distracted Ben and took him to another room. There, Ben calmed down a bit and extended his hand to Lucy. Lucy thought Ben was all right, but that wasn't the case at all. Instead, he twisted her hand. Lucy frees herself from the Ben and starts to crawl under the bed, but then Erin arrives and drags Ben behind her. Ben snatches Erin's bag, and Lucy's father sees Drew's body, which is in a very bad state. Seeing this, they all understand that Ben has gone mad. The two sisters are fighting with Ben when their father intervenes and fights with him. The fight between them is very dangerous and lasts for a long time, as it is said that wild animals should always be left in the wild, not in your home. Ben punches Lucy, then attacks his father and grabs his head and started punching his head. Then he was going to launch a full strike with his both hands, before finally her father stabs Ben to death. Finally, the three of them breathe a sigh of relief and embrace. But then, shockingly, Ben gets up again and runs towards them, ready to attack. This means that he has become a kind of zombie. Lucy then pushes her sister and father away, causing Ben to fall down with her. But Lucy's father holds her hand. While Lucy survives, Ben falls onto a sharp piece of wood, which pierces through him, killing him instantly. Finally, he's killed, and the three finally breathe a sigh of relief. A real one. The scene shifts to Erin being rushed to the hospital and her father tells her she'll be fine. Then Lucy hears Ben's tablet, which tells her that Lucy is bad. But in reality, the tablet was in the hands of the police, which is why Lucy breathes her last breath. And boom, the Primate movie ends. So, friends, that was the plot of the Primate movie, which I hope you enjoyed. It's definitely inspired by a real story. In 2009, a 14-year-old, 200-pound pet chimpanzee named Travis brutally attacked Charla Nash in Stamford, Connecticut, tearing off her end. So, in this movie we were shown a chimpanzee who had undergone experiments and had become human-like. But after contracting rabies, it took a toll on the humans. This chimpanzee had rabies, and on top of that, it was incredibly intelligent, which is why it used the key. The numerous tactics used, and all these combos make Ben incredibly dangerous. In reality, this movie was quite good. It was a natural horror film, and a lot was depicted within it, and its slow scenes further increased the tension. In other words, the tension is quite dangerous to watch. I hope you understood the movie and enjoyed it. If you liked the video, please like it. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. And in case you haven't seen the other explanation videos yet, go check it out. You'll find the link in the description below and in the comments. So, I'll see you all with the next video. Until then, stay tuned.